Jeez.
It was hilarious.
Reminds me of good
So
burger.
you'd get a, like, do just a funny order, just to make them talk to the microphones.
I like a cheeseburger without cheese.
We used to have a CB in our car that if you keyed the mic, it would open the drive-through window at McDonald's.
Really? Well, isn't it, some people, have thingamabobs that will open garage doors? Yeah, it's its own.
We're live, but not recording.
It's okay, we're half there.
Recording in progress.
We ready?
Yep.
All right, okay. Let's rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Our first, okay, we're not going to do insurance because we do not have those final figures,
We do not
correct?
have the final figures. I looked at the website this morning and it said, the week of October 21st. I just saw 21st and I thought it was gonna be updated today and it is not, so I will have to, probably update you guys, those on your Board of Selectmen meeting on November 6th.
Okay, all right. So we will start with the capital outlay, and CIP requests.
Yeah, we did go through these our last meeting. I think you guys still have it
Yep.
in your folder.
Yep,
I
I
did
do.
highlight the dry hydrant and cistern.
Cistern.
I gotta respell that because I spelled citrine. Cistern repair, the question mark of if we wanted to put $2,500 in there. I did talk to the chief, and she is here today with us. And we currently have, we have 26,800 in the account, and not really knowing, how much it costs to do the maintenance, and buy one. I reached out to Deb, and I think she may have some information in her today on that, and if we should move forward with 2,500, if we could skip it this year, or do we need to buy it?
So I do know I have a couple of them that need to be addressed, and I've been talking with Brian from Highway, just because he knows, he does some of the water stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been trying to figure out how to get some parts for them. They're just, I think there's like two, there's one down on Union, and there's one up by, Sergeant Lake one is cracked, piece broke out of it, actually got shot right out into the pump. So that was definitely out of service, so that's one that I'm working on. They should have cost $25,000 to fix. We did have them all dove this summer, which I know has not been done since I started. So this was the first time I've had a diver in the water this summer to go through all of them, backflush them, and make sure which ones are working and not working. So the biggest concern I have right now is just, the one up on Sergeant Lake.
So somebody, say it's out of commission because of,
It looks like at some point in time, like the screen or something went, so a part has come through, they found a little piece of metal
yeah,
that ended up on the strainer, on the pump, which is what the purpose of the strainer is, to keep it from going into the pump.
so they do have pumps on them?
No.
No.
we are the-
No, there's no pumps.
Okay, that's
We
fine.
make the pump, we make the Venturi, we,
It's like a big straw.
You, okay,
we
all right.
pull the water out of it.
I just know I built one, but I haven't been in it, that's for sure.
Well, that's just, so that's not cistern, that's a dry hydrant.
That's dry hydrant,
So
right.
a cistern basically is just a big enclosed pool of water, like
Yeah.
30,000 gallons. So we
You
have,
paid for some.
I know, but that's okay.
so we have, there's one off of Levitt Road, I think the road it's on.
Benton, no, Boulder,
Yes.
Boulder,
Oh, right on the corner of Boulder and.
Boulder, and, yeah, that's one that we put in,
We
Marano.
have one up on Sun Lake.
Mhm.
We have another one on, got three. Well, I do have, actually, we have two more that aren't added on there.
Stonington.
Was it Stonington or Boulder?
Both.
Cedar Hill Drive, that's the other one, Stonington.
Stonington, I always get the two mixed up.
And Sunrise Shore, which is the one up in the hill that overlooks the for water. We do have then also at the new storage unit, we have a 30,000 gallon one over there for their sprinkler system. So really that's only isolated to them.
Oh,
There was one that was at what is now the new McDonald's, however, that one's out of service. They didn't need to replenish that because they weren't building anything that needed sprinkler systems in there anymore, because they set the size down smaller.
so what you're saying is that you think the monies that you have in there are gonna go towards fixing the one on Sergeant?
It'll definitely, I gotta get that one worked out, I gotta go check out that Union Ave, they had trouble pulling the draft on that one. So, and so it could be just clogged again from just having low water, but I certainly don't see $25,000. So I think that at this point, we could probably forego a year and reset it up again next year, to put in $2,500 into it. That would
Okay.
help with savings.
Do we know where all the dry hydrants are? Not,
do,
not the dry hydrants.
Well, let me give you this, that I printed out. I have a map, however, you will not be able to see it. Not just you, I can't see it, because it's on a computer, and I couldn't get it to come up.
Well, a good friend of mine's house caught fire on 107. And at that time in life, I owned the second
And as
oldest
a matter of
property in
fact-
this town.
Hold on a minute, your name is on, one of the lists I have, your name is on it, but it's probably
Should be.
doesn't show up on this.
Shouldn't be now because I sold it 20 years ago, but,
It's still, we call it the Pike.
well, the fire chief at that time, and not condemning you or anybody else, couldn't find water to put the fire out. So they tried to draft water out of a fire hydrant, which is dry, which is on the south side of 107. It goes in where the middle route turns left off 107. It's on the right-hand lane. There's a little, you can get off, then there's one there. 2 doors up, in that big white house on the corner, which was my house at the time, there's 1.5 million gallons of water with a dry hydrant made to be put in there by the former owner. A doctor put this, when I bought it, it was all there. Cement base inside, the hydrant's up where you can get at it. And they used to come in the summer, you know, they'd been there, cause you could see they'd spray water back and forth. I mean, you know, the trucks leak a little water. They didn't know where it was. They were busing water out of Laconia because they didn't know, and that was his, unfortunately, he wasn't from Belmont or from Gilberton, had no idea.
I also wanted to give you guys, and for those that don't know, the difference between a hydrant and like a dry hydrant. Basically, this is, and I didn't print up a bunch of these, this is what a dry hydrant is. So it's a standalone pipe that'll go down into the ground and into your water source. There's a strainer at the end of here, there's also strainers on our trucks, and this is what we draft out of, no different than sucking out of a straw.
So you put the strainers on it in case it's mucky or
Yep.
whatever.
But we
So
have
it doesn't-
strainers, we drop the
Yeah.
water in, like, we can also just drop hose, we have hard suction that we can just drop in
Drop
our
it in.
strainers, and we do that too.
Yeah.
But this is already established, so we can just come in and hook up to them,
Yeah.
and that's basically
But I
what,
know one of these places on South Road, it gets pretty dry.
yeah,
It's not,
so,
That's a dry hydrant, and a hydrant is the.
this is a dry hydrant.
Yeah.
A hydrant is pressurized, what we have downtown, the downtown areas.
yep,
So if you were to open up one of those and then crank the valve open, you'll get water out of it. If you open up one of these, you're not gonna get anything out of it.
right,
unless
without
it's-
drawing it.
Some of them have a little, Sergeant Lake has pressure behind it when it's up and running because of the way it's at dam. So it
So
does
it's
have
low.
some pressure
Got
behind
it.
it. It's not anything spectacular, but you'll get that.
Cause the water level is higher than the,
Mine ain't, and the guy had water from.
yep,
So that's what
I
I
haven't
got
owned
you
it
for
20
hydrant
years.
stuff. I do think we could probably forego $2,000 or $2,500 this year, if that will help out.
and the cisterns are still in good shape.
And we don't know how much it is to replace a dry hydrant.
I did look at some pricing, I didn't have it with me, but just, I gotta see what that part is again, as a Ryan, I have to go in and look at it, see what exactly the pieces that broke. So,
It depends on what's broken and where. If it's
Yeah,
broken
it's
like
not
on the
like
ground,
mechanical.
it makes it, you need an excavator to fix it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you gotta, yeah,
so.
Yes.
yeah. How,
Most of
how
that
close
is
do you
gonna
like your, dry hydrants from, say, a driveway or a road? Pretty close, I would assume.
It's
so you
gonna be
can grab-
accessible for a fire truck even.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Too bad.
So we have a total of 24 for those dry hydrants.
No, that's a
Yeah.
hydrant, those are
Yeah,
hydrants.
1 through 24 are dry hydrants, the other ones are
Oh.
drafting sites where we can just pull up to a pond or whatever and draft out of them with our own with our own suction, and then we've got the 3 cisterns.
And so would it be like your goal to be able to have enough money in that account to replace all 24 if something happened and cisterns, or, I mean, how are you gonna?
No,
how
I
you
don't
gonna-
Be some
think- I don't
bad
think-
luck in a year if that
Is there-
happened.
That would be, yeah, that would be really
Are
bad.
there other options in the areas where you could get water
Well-
from if one or
That's
two
where-
of these were down?
So I'm saying, it's a
Oh,
million
yeah,
gallons of water sitting
so,
there.
but we have the ability to take, we've got 20 feet of hard suction, and we can take off our truck and draft into, say, a lake or a pond, and go over here to, I mean, a
Mud
swamp,
pond.
or whatever it's
Mud
called.
pond.
You know, even if, like, for instance, I don't know if you have a water on your land, we could in theory just go up to any pond or pool if need be and pull out of there. At Fairville, there's, well, it's not, yeah, it's the Fairville house, that they just redid. They have that huge pond back there, which we couldn't get that dry hydrant to work in the middle of winter a couple years ago just because of
No.
freezing situation.
On this map here, Chief, that you just gave us doesn't show the one that's at the middle route. It shows my old house, it says Pike and Dehart, because Dehart's the one to put the pond in. But right at the middle route, where middle route comes out onto 107, across the street, if you lived on a middle route and you drove across the street, you'd hit a hydrant.
It shows a drafting site, but not
Yeah.
a dry hydrant.
And
Yeah.
it may be a drafting site now.
Number 23 on the list does say Province and Middle Route.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that.
Not
Yeah,
that.
but,
Oh, I don't mind it.
but in most years, there's no water there.
Yeah.
And there might not be right now because it's been dry.
Well, I'm saying in the winter, you ain't gonna draft any water in the middle of winter.
But if there's a dry hydrant there, and I know there's another one up on there that,
But again, I'm gonna go back to the Alan Gilbert's house burned on 107. They didn't know that there's 1 million gallons of water that they could draft out of the hydrants there. It was made and designed by Mr. Ackerstrom and put in with a cement suction thing. I mean, it's all done. And they used to come in the summer, and you'd tell they'd been there, with my wife and I were both working. And you could see where the truck had parked, and they went up and they sprayed the water back in the pond. But there's 1.5 million gallons of water there. They didn't know it was there. And then going forward, it was there. I mean, it would have saved running up and down the hill to try to go to Laconia and get water.
Say, do our firefighters have like a map like this that they look at? Okay.
so, yeah, in our trucks, and that's why, this comes up on a computer, and it comes up, and like in both my car and his car, and the frontline pieces have an iPad in there, that if, chances are the fire trucks, the operators of the fire trucks aren't gonna be using that, because they're gonna be the first line attack. So what it's gonna be is myself or Chief Pickowitz that will be saying, oh yeah, by the way, there's a cistern right over there. 'Cause at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not necessarily thinking which way things are, you're just, okay, yeah, oh yeah, it's over there, so we'll send a crew, from another town to come in and get it. And that could be the thing too, John, is maybe just, they were told to get water supply. I wasn't there, I don't remember when it was.
No, it was before you came to work for the town.
So, I mean, I went to several when I was on Laconia, but, we come in, or if a town comes in mutual aid, they're gonna have 0 clue where our dry hydrants are. Same as if we go into, Tilton, I'm not gonna be out of here. I go into Laconia, I can tell you where every hydrant is, but that's just,
So if there was a fire on Stonington, cause there's a cistern there, right? Do you like hook up to that cistern?
so what would end up happening is, what would happen is, say there's a fire at the top of the street.
Right,
The first truck that pulls up there would drop their 4-inch line.
yeah,
That truck would drive up the street, they would then take the attack lines off the truck and start attacking the fire,
sure,
because they've got
Of
1,000 gallons
course.
sitting in the truck.
right,
The next new piece would come up at that point and hook the hard suction into the cistern,
oh, interesting.
and then take that 4-inch line, put it
Mm.
onto their truck that we dropped initially, and now suck the water out of here and push it up the street to them.
So how did that water get in the cistern? It was just
Somebody
pumped
filled
in?
No,
It was,
no,
it was
gets
filled?
trucked in.
Oh, it is, all right, I don't remember,
it's-
it's been a long time, yeah,
So, and if it's 30,000, I didn't see what it
Yeah.
was.
oh,
Maybe
interesting,
that's 30 fire
Sure, sure,
Cisterns are great, I wish we had one at every one park.
yeah,
Septic tank in reverse.
yeah, but it's expensive.
That's what it is.
That I get
My
it.
boss.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
And they were mandated.
So do you wanna keep the 25 or get rid of it for this year? I mean, looking to save probably anywhere we can, but.
well, it's up to, I guess, chief, you know, she's,
so Alicia told me we have 25,000 there, is that what you told me?
yeah,
26,000,
26,000,
Plus
so,
that doesn't include putting in the 5,000 that was voted in for December, that was voted in March, so we'll put another 5,000 in March,
So you can
that
have
turns
30.
to-
yeah,
30,000?
yeah,
I think for the year, I would be fine, like I said, I had diver come in and to go through all of them. The only one that we had the major problem was with Sergeant Lake.
yeah, well, that's,
So,
can't complain about that, I guess.
and that, I mean, there's water right, I'm not as concerned, I shouldn't say I'm
No,
not
because you can
concerned,
just, you can
because I
throw a
know
line
that
in the
I
lake,
could- I could put the,
right,
it'd be a little bit more of a challenge, but it could be done.
right,
There's also a little private access boat ramp.
yes, down,
And
yeah,
then all the houses on Eden Circle are sprinklered, so that helps out a lot. And, you know, other than just down.
if they're sprinkled, where are they getting their water from?
They have a 300-gallon tank in their house.
In the house.
Really? All right. Interesting. Okay, all right,
So, scratch it,
scratch it.
right?
Yeah.
30, consensus, or motion, consensus for
I'll make a motion that we eliminate the $2,500 for dry hydrant and cistern repair this year. But obviously,
And that's on the warrant article, right, that comes out of the
Yeah.
ambulance? Or no, that was.
no, that's,
Their own fund.
taxation.
yeah,
So do one last warrant article.
but obviously to not eliminate it for next year, keep the line.
Yeah, just this year.
Right,
keep the
just
line
this year.
open.
Yes, that's, I wanna make sure the line is
Second it.
kept open. All right, and, Travis seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposition, hearing none, okay?
And was there any other ones on the list from last week that we wanna discuss, remove, add?
No, the only, not under the, first section, I don't think.
And I think we just had questions or clarification
I
from
see
Deb
this, I don't
on-
have one of
on
those.
her couple.
You know, no.
On the fire tanker replacement,
Yep,
Yeah,
I have 3-year, that must have been the lease, why did I write 3-year?
so you had 3-year.
That's the lease?
That would be for the lease with
Okay.
250 down. And I did get a second one today, Alicia, but it doesn't, it's not like it's drawn out as much as that one is. And Becky was working on another one, she just didn't hear anything back. This is the one we have from the company we've been working with. The reason we've been working consistently now with this company, because it's the one that we could probably get a tanker within a month.
Okay, this was
This is the
the,
one that like pumps them out, their stock tankers.
yep, yeah, you can't add a lot of fluff.
No, because with a tanker, you don't really need a lot of fluff. It's a water tender.
That'll get me on Facebook,
It's a water tender.
Yeah.
So
it's just,
I need someone to be able to drive it, maybe have a pack in there, 2 packs in there in case they don't really need the water tender,
yep,
and go from there.
okay,
So this was the payment options that we got going through this company. No different than if you go to Bank Chevrolet, and you go through them to
Sure.
get your financing
yeah,
that way. I did get something from Franklin Savings Bank today, late this afternoon, it finally came in. Like I said, and this one says $300,000, and I just screwed me up a little too, and Becky's like, well, because we're doing a down payment of $250 in that, so we're
so this was borrowing 300,
yeah.
and this is their lease.
And that's like, yeah, I believe my understanding is this is a lease. It was a real quick, shoot,
She left.
hold on.
She took her paperwork and went and got some advice.
How do they stretch the years out longer and then give you a lower APR?
Cause you're paying,
They're
you're just
guessing.
paying more in
Paying more.
interest,
You're
Yeah,
paying.
Yeah.
they get you in the interest,
right,
they make up,
they still make out.
they
yeah,
make
it's still-
better,
So. And then Becky was working on one more.
I like that right
That's
there.
what she
I
had.
like that fixed. What's this? So, I'm a little confused, and I've never sold a car in my life, and I've never seen a finance contract.
Okay.
So from Republic First National, it says here the total unit cost is $550, the down payment's $100,000.
Well, no, there's two options in there.
Well, let me read the first one, cause I've never done this before.
I know.
Then it says the net finance is $450. Over here, when we're talking to Franklin Savings Bank, the first number, up to $300,000.
So, and this is where I questioned it myself, because he just did it, he wrote this up quick for us this afternoon. We're putting $250 down on it, so we don't, that's.
He's just using the borrowing
He's just using
number.
the borrowing number.
He's just
That's
using the
it,
borrowing number.
he's a real banker,
Yeah,
okay?
So,
Will he give you an option if you put 100,000 down and an option if you put 250 down?
that's with the other one, yes.
The Republic, and then
Republic.
this one only gave
Gave
you
you
one,
the-
if you
Gave us
put
one
down
option.
250.
Correct.
alright. Okay.
So what you're looking really at is FSB is gonna give us a 5% rate,
Yep.
depending on how much, well, theirs is either 5.39 with less.
Did anybody shop Berlin City
Berlin City,
Bank? It would be a good idea. We bought some police cruisers a couple years ago, and they came in way underneath anybody
No,
else.
we didn't use them even for the last police cruisers.
No,
I don't
because the
think.
last week, it was a lease, it was a lease buy. This is your buying, this is a lease buyout. This, you're buying it and mortgaging it on the Franklin FSB. And I like FSB and I like Berlin City Bank, when it came to some cruisers under, and really, either they were looking for business and it may have been a one-time shot. But it would be good to ask them.
Just for my own information, obviously, this money's coming out of the ambulance fund. And, I just get nervous,
I get it, me too.
with how much money we're pulling out of that fund, because obviously, we have an ambulance coming, and we're no more gonna get that and turn around and order a second one for,
On top of, at some point, I have to work on replacing, engine 3.
yeah.
Because really, engine 3's almost a 30-year-old truck.
Well, obviously, probably, I'm
And
only
that-
guessing that somewhere along the line, it's all gonna catch up, and we're probably gonna have to bond something, more than likely, all right?
And that's where I'll be looking to, I don't know, Alicia or Steve or whatever, to look at.
Yeah,
that.
I know, I just wanna make sure that we're staying on top of that,
Right.
that we're not, you
And
know,
these numbers I don't necessarily see until I ask Alicia as
Sure.
far as the ambulance.
Yep, I understand, all right. Any questions, guys? I mean, you know,
Yeah, I got a ton of them.
huh?
When we talked about this tank truck a month or two ago, it wasn't $550,000.
That was adding some ladders and stuff on it, so it could, in
Oh,
theory,
now,
it could in theory be a frontline fire truck if needed, because at one point this year, for a long time, we were down to one fire truck, which you can't survive with one fire truck in town.
And I remember her talking about the fact that really about the only, about the only thing that she would be looking for would be ladders to go on this. I do
Right,
remember that.
That's when we got in the discussion about Quins or Quins,
Yeah,
whatever
Quins.
that's.
Quinn.
That was the
Yeah,
Quinn, and that is
yeah.
a whole other.
because
That's a
that came
whole
before us, so we're gonna
Yeah.
look out the Quinn.
Yeah, but I do remember the talking
So,
about.
yeah, and
ladders.
I
Is this
relate,
truck considered NFPA approved for a cat fire? Granted, it will only be like basically a 2 or 3 seater, I think it's a 3-seater.
Mhm.
So, but it still can be an attack piece.
Mhm.
So if you get your ambulance crew up there, it's gonna have your hose crosslays, it's gonna have, supply lines, or you're gonna have 3,000 gallons of water.
Yeah.
And it'll have ladders to make rescues, and that's what makes it a frontline piece. Is it gonna be a frontline piece? Hopefully not.
Right.
However, I've made many, years ago, because in Epsom, we had the same situations, same staffing, same fire truck numbers, and it came down to having a tanker that I had to respond to, and I was making rescues with this tanker,
Mhm. Mhm.
because our fire truck, same situation.
Yeah.
So,
It happens. They're pieces of equipment, unfortunately.
She does also have the contact information for the company that we're leasing the pumper truck
Pumper
as
truck?
well
Yeah,
to look
to ask.
into, because they also finance these kind of trucks,
Sure.
vehicles, and we already have a lease with them, so.
Yeah.
I gave her
Pierce, when they did that. So like, you know, it's no different, like I said, if you go to like Bank Chevrolet and you go and you wanna lease or purchase a vehicle, they're gonna find you whatever bank gives you the best.
I think Jean did some research, if I remember correctly, on that, on the financing. I'm not, don't quote me for that, but I think that that's how we ended up with the company where's the company based out of?
Which one?
The one that we've leased on now.
Do you remember?
I almost thought it was Florida, but don't quote me.
It is not, it's right, it's not New Hampshire.
It's not New
Most
Hampshire.
certainly it's not New Hampshire.
Yeah, all right,
Did I take a picture of it and send
I
it
don't
to you?
remember.
yeah. It's not a big deal, it's just,
I haven't.
yeah.
Well, I got a question while we're talking about money and talking about the ambulance fund a little bit, cause
Yeah.
that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I talked to the man from Winnie Truck the other day. And it looks like $25,000 to $30,000 is gonna have to go into the truck that we just got back from being refurbished. And I'm not pointing fingers, cause you guys inherited this stuff. But the maintenance on these trucks over the years has been zero.
I understand that, and I am backpedaling on this, and I.
There's nothing you can do, and I understand that, but now, and he's talking to me about the frame, he's gotta have some welding, as well as the battery, what they told you down there about the battery box is true, and other stuff. And I trust this man, I've worked with him, and I trust him implicitly. Plus the fact he's in town. But that truck's gonna need that work done, and it's gonna tie your truck up probably a month or two, because even the containers, when they build a fire truck, they take frame rails and build whatever the specs are. The depth containers, which are the fluid that you have to mix with your fuel nowadays, are held in that truck, and they have been held in since it was new, with something you'd wrap around to hold your septic pipe up in your house. That strapping stuff with holes in it. They weren't securely mounted.
You mean from the manufacturer?
From the upfitter. These guys aren't, they don't manufacture anything.
But then when you upfit it,
That's right,
it
they
goes
had to
someplace
move
else.
they had to move, it was a truck chassis, and they had to move these tanks, so they just hung them there. He said, John, you gotta fix them. Because you're gonna be into the battery box, and up beside it, you gotta fix this thing. And that's the kind of advice, we may pay a little more yearly, but that's the kind of advice we need and you need. Because we got 2 dump trucks that are 28 years old and they're not rusted out. And they see more salt. Yes, they're easier to wash because you tip the body up and you wash the frame. But you guys can't do that. So we talked about the washmobile on the bottom, but the overall maintenance of this, who's ever in charge in your department to go and look underneath is only the first step. We need somebody with a state of New Hampshire license to be a technician to look at these things. And we really do periodically.
When they go for inspections, whether it be at the town garage, that they let us know what is going on underneath the truck,
I don't feel that we can put that workload on that man.
okay? And I will have to take it on the places then.
And I guess the other thing is that you look underneath the truck, I imagine you don't just send a truck to a garage. I mean, to look under it, you wanna lift it, right?
There's only one lift in town that can pick up a fire truck, and I used to own the building that it's in.
Oh, all right,
That's a 100,000-pound lift. And
yeah.
I tell you, when we put a dump truck on it, I had a question. The man I poured the floors passed away yesterday afternoon. But I realized when I wanted to put the lift in, and he was supposed to be an 8-inch floor. And it was 3-inch floor. Well, what do I know about concrete, right? The thing was polished it, painted it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I ordered the lift, drilled the holes, only 3 inches. When you walk under something that weighs 100,000 pounds and you're standing on there and it's up on this lift,
Yeah, all right.
so I had to recut the floor and put it to make it work. We really need somebody that you trust, and I gotta say, and Glenn Martell as well. I trust either man.
Well, so, and I do have a program that we are moving forward with now. We've been trying to get this since I pretty much took over However, little things keep falling into place that screw that up. So here.
Well, I understand that, I mean, I'm not pointing
Here
fingers.
I am, no, I know. I am moving this forward. I have been. I've got someone, yes, on the front lines that's monitoring this, and when something is suspicious, peculiar, whatever the case may be, we are trying to take it somewhere. We had it down at Glenn's for a whole day, or not, yeah, no, Lake Truck, whatever.
Lakes Region, yeah, yeah.
Pizza. We had it
Pizza.
down at his place, you know, for a whole day, he went over the whole thing, and now that was in the middle of summer, and I still haven't seen any paperwork on it. to see
He
what
called me,
exactly-
and we have a long relationship, and he called me, he said, John,
Okay.
you gotta have this thing right, he said, you're gonna spend 25 to 30 grand, but that'll fix it for another 10 years. Barring an accident or a,
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'll probably get ragged on. The people that drive these trucks?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, I drive my 1-ton and, you know, my farm truck and whatever, but I assume that a person that drives a fire truck has a CDL
Yes.
and has training to drive a fire truck and knows how fast they should be going and how not fast they should be going when they.
Part of the department's policy is to have CDLs. It's been slower to come by and those people aren't really driving the trucks. So, because of just, once that, I don't even know what happened, but now the state has been more involved in it, it's harder to come by, I guess state police are doing it, which they don't have enough of them. So, but those that don't have CDLs are not responding to emergency vehicles, emergency calls. And they are the ones that are, like, we'll take them all training and constantly training. However, when it comes down to responding, they're not doing that. Technically, in the state of New Hampshire, you don't need a CDL to drive a fire truck.
Really? Well, I suppose you don't need a CDL to drive your big motorhome bus either, right?
No, no.
You should, though.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a CDL, so I can drive it, and I'm very
Yeah.
good at it.
Yeah.
But, you don't need a CDL to drive a motorhome,
Mhm.
and you don't even drive a municipal vehicle. We have a
Really?
policy, most fire departments are not gonna have a policy to drive with a CDL. So yes, we do educate them, we, work with new probationary guys on how to handle these trucks.
Mhm.
Because you get someone that comes in some little Toyota, and now jumps into,
Right.
you know, a fire truck.
Mhm.
It is a whole different world of driving.
Right. And I only ask that because actually even last week, someone talked about seeing the ambulance and the fire truck. They must have been coming back from a call. You know, there was no lights, there was no nothing coming across Union, going way faster than what they felt they should be going with them. All right, you know, I mean, it's only hearsay, but again, it got me thinking, do they have to have CDLs? Do they get
The
training?
handles are smaller, so they don't have to. However, the fire trucks, we require it, but state regulations do not.
Mhm. Okay.
And yes, yeah, I mean, there was an ambulance that went flying through town the other day, and I actually went up to him and said, you will speak to our crew when you get back, because I thought it was them.
Yeah,
It happened to be a mutual aid ambulance that was covering a call in our town.
yeah,
They just, when they left town, they kind of went a different route, so I was thinking it was them, where our ambulance was already in the hospital.
yeah,
But that was the first thing out of my mouth, was you will talk to that crew when they get back,
yeah,
and they will not drive like that.
yeah.
But it was a mutual aid ambulance that had taken care of the call, so they came back with it. It wasn't us.
Yeah.
Explained, they didn't even go to the hospital, like
Yeah.
something, so.
All right. I just wondered,
So
I
just
didn't
try to
know.
keep right on top of that,
Yeah.
and if I catch them,
Mhm.
they know they'll get taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
I've been very clear with them.
not to get off the subject.
We have a discussion almost daily that they are to drive with due regard, period. You know, even if the lights, their lights and sirens are going, this stop and have stop signs, lights, intersections.
We don't get there and we're using
The
stuff.
problem is nowadays, it doesn't matter whether you got lights or whatever, people are just, you know,
Well, I think since
And
the
trucks always look like
Alton
they're on
had that
fast and
accident, I think
Yeah.
people are being a little bit more diligent and watching for them.
boy, I don't know.
Ah,
I come down 106 and no one gets out of the way. It blows my mind.
I've been doing this.
You know, it's like,
People passing me on the double yellow on 106 on the way to work in the morning in between Dewtile and Lebanon
Yeah.
Road and Lansing Road.
Stop going so slow, right?
it's crazy. You gotta be going
That's
80
the
miles an
road trip will
hour.
wake you
yeah,
up.
I went Friday morning, I had to go back down to the auction in Londonderry, I go past the dog track, go over that hill, and there's a guy blinking his lights, so, and I don't drive fast. I mean, I've never been a fast driver, so I got a guy with me to bring the car back. And as I round the corner, and Mrs. Mitchell, his wife is walking down 106 with her dog. Get around the corner, there's a Volkswagen with the nose ripped off, everything from the windshield forward is gone. That's on AE's lawn over there where he's living now. There's one on its side, just across the street, in the southbound lane, on its side. The road's flat. I mean, you could go 80 down that road. I mean, it's
They
flat.
probably were, they're going 90.
And you got a shoulder, you got vision, you got no sun glare, you got nothing here, there, scattered all
There's
over.
more accidents in that
This is
mile stretch.
basically job security.
And that's the one spot you don't wanna have an accident, cause cell phone service is very spotty in that spot.
I came out of Laconia Sunday morning, you know where it goes 2 to 1, heading up Prescott Hill, and I'm behind someone, okay, and Massachusetts car literally went in the breakdown lane and went right, it's crazy, it's crazy. So this fire tanker, if you can get it in a month, now is that all set to go, the ladders are on it, or it's gonna have to go out and be outfitted
It
once
should.
you,
The truck itself should be all set, they pretty much already have like specs to put, because we're not the only one making this spec.
Yeah.
Usually people are ordering them in the ladders, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
all right,
So, you've been dealing with them more than I have, he's him and Lieutenant.
so it'll all be, when you get it, it'll be other than a sticker on the side of it, so to speak.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
mean, hypothetically, if this was to get voted in March,
Yeah,
I would hope by the end of April, we would have
in service.
a truck.
Cause I know,
There's one expected to come out in April too.
okay, cause I just know, in years past, it seems like, oh, the truck is here, but then it's like not in service for months, it seems like, cause it's off being, whatever, outfitted.
Yeah, a town truck. We had a cabin chassis here, and it was 3 months before we saw it.
Right,
I mean, the only thing that would probably, have to be added would be the radios and stuff.
yeah, oh, yeah,
The
that-
lights, I think, are
I
already
believe
ordered,
it comes lettered,
comes lettered, lit,
which is rare.
and, I think the only thing we'd have to end up putting in would be the radios.
which if you've got a delivery on it, you could probably get that done fairly fast.
Yeah, and I got a guy.
All right. So what do why did we have, oh, I guess we had it highlighted because we had questions about the outfitting and stuff.
So
All
I
right.
can send you a few more quotes,
Yeah, on the financing, yeah, I mean, we got plenty of time, so,
the rates, just
right.
to get
and then the other issue is we're getting these quotes now, but are they gonna hold till March? They probably won't.
They should go down.
Yeah, it might go down, you're right, it might need
Well,
to,
the election
I will
happened
say a
first.
bonus to this.
They gotta do something to stimulate the economy.
yeah,
They don't project any, spike in their costs and what they're charging folks, like, some people won't even do contracts now because like
Yeah,
every month it goes
of
up a
course.
percentage.
yeah.
And these things are coming out and they don't foresee as of.
And where is
as
this
of
being
last
built?
week, It could be Georgia or Massachusetts.
Okay,
They're
all right.
choosing.
They have booked two, all right, cool, all right. So is that a road trip if it's Georgia?
No, they'll bring it to us.
Awesome, all right. So basically, we need a motion to, move forward with the fire tanker replacement, is that a firm price, or is that, no, I don't wanna
I
put,
think we kind of, it's gonna be, I think less than, correct me if I'm wrong, less than the 550, but I think we just.
Yes, that's a number to,
Where we're at right now, just
Yeah.
to kind of start working on that.
all right. So I guess,
Because you know, and if, in January, the truck that they technically will have, if that's gone, it's going up another 60,000.
mhm,
So,
Yeah.
the trucks they have from now till when they get finished up in January.
Yeah.
And they had, I don't remember how many you said,
4.
mm, yeah. Yeah, timing is everything, we're always a day late, it seems like, yeah. All right, so
60,000.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the, fire tanker replacement on the, warrant article, thank you.
By the time we get to
I'll
that point,
second.
we'll have a better idea of the final cost.
Sure.
And interest
Right,
determine
because
how much they can actually put down with what's in the account.
right, and that's where Steve comes into
When we put
play.
this article before the public, we should put a life expectancy in that article. Because if we'd had maintenance done properly, we wouldn't be in the position we are probably right now. We may have been, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
You know, I mean, the tanker was 25 years old,
Mhm.
so that's a life for an engine. That is basically.
Well,
its
it's a
life.
life for an engine in your theory. In my theory, it isn't.
Right, exactly.
It's
But no,
rusted, it
it's
was
not-
rusted out, and to be quite frank with you, when it was ordered new, it shouldn't have had a ladder frame built on it.
I know, and that's beyond, that's over
Yeah.
and done with.
Yeah, I know
But
that, I
however,
understand that.
a fire truck's life expectancy is 25 years. That's NFPA specs.
Mhm.
It's got nothing to do with trucks. It's what the NFPA regulates for what fire trucks are gonna be. So,
Do a
I
lot
think
of
that's
your
something-
small stations have older trucks in that, or?
no.
No? I get yes, no.
Manufacturers are kind of, they're actually saying, you know, you want 25, but you get 17,
Yeah.
realistically. Like, you look at all these new cars that are coming out,
Mhm.
you know, with all the brine that they put on the streets in the wintertime, it's just
Yeah.
choose them.
And I mean, I think that tanker did its job.
And this one will have all the new emission stuff on it, so you gotta
Right.
put the,
Yeah,
we call it the, what is it? Dep-
yeah.
well, I always thought they call it big something.
Diesel exhaust.
Interesting.
Radiation.
Yep, awesome, okay, all right. Do we have any?
Sharon
Oh,
did.
I'm sorry, Sharon, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, that will move forward. Okay. Thank you, we kinda got off a little bit, but,
A little bit.
you know, such is life.
I invited Eileen from the library, I know they have their standard $25,000 request, so if you guys had any questions for her, or it's kind of, standard status quo for that, allotment, she's here if you have any questions.
Is that for the new library?
Yes.
Where
I
are we,
assume so, right? Your 25,000 is-
Big- Yeah,
where are we at with a new library? Do we have any,
So we are going to make a request at your next regular meeting
I can't hear it.
to,
she's going to make a request.
access the capital reserve.
I hate to interrupt you, can I ask you to come up here, because I can't hear you.
So, yeah, so at your next, regular meeting, I'll be coming with a request to access the capital reserve, complete some architectural studies with BTS and SME architects, so that we can move for a warrant article hopefully in March 2026. So
That's a
where
good
we're
plan,
at now.
that's a good plan.
Future. Good.
we have enough funds in there to actually make this project go ahead in 2026? If it
No,
gets
it would
going?
be a bond.
Yeah, a bond.
You'd have to have a bond.
I meant like the general architect and all
They
that
only
crap.
have
Yeah, we spent,
397 in their account.
yeah, we
Money for the
spent,
architect stuff.
And only
Yep.
asking $25,000 a year
Yeah.
is not gonna get them.
No.
we spent roughly $175,000 on plans that are somewhere around. Back when Mr. Cormier and
that was a
the other
few years
gentleman, he was,
There have been multiple attempts, since the mid-90s.
yeah, well, they got the money and they did the plans, and then they just kinda went sideways, cause the price was either too grande or whatever, and.
Well, I think when they had, I had been to one meeting and they've kind of realistic or reality has,
And they weren't doing the job that you're doing, and you're doing a very good job.
yeah, that's for sure. All right. So, we'll move forward with the $25,000 for the, cemetery. Where did that come from? For the library, I was reading it, yeah. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, we're all set. Awesome, thank you, Deb. Yep.
That was it for the CIP and capital outlay. I did provide you with the estimated revenues, so mind you, revenues are always estimated. These are our year-to-date revenues, so this is actually what I'm going to be talking, giving to DRA this week as far as our revenues for '24 to offset the tax rate. So what we do is we kind of take these '24 revenues and we bring them forward into '25, and then they get adjusted twice in that year that you're in, so, I will adjust the '25 proposed 2 times next year, but this will be where we start going into '25. And when I first estimated my revenues to them, I had estimated the 4.792, and as of today, we're at the 4.893, so somewhere in there we gained about a little over 100,000, which I'm 100% sure that is attributed to the PDIP interest, because we had first gauged about 130,000, and we're estimating gonna land at 218.
But let's get rid of PDIP, right?
Yeah.
Because that's clearly it's working for the taxpayers, we're using that gained interest to offset the tax rate, so.
So the money that's in the capital accounts that the trustees, that's in the PDIP fund too,
No,
is that?
so, no, it is not.
No?
Because it's not a capital reserve, it's our savings account, it's where we keep
Right.
basically our revenue, our tax money, instead of it in Northway, we keep it in the PDIP, and then we just transfer when we
When
have
we need
enough,
it,
and so it can gain the interest.
I do have an issue on the cleanup. Last remaining section, cleanup items. I have a question. I have 2 questions. I must have been asleep when I was sitting here. Now, Ann, where did we end up with the cemetery? Yeah, can't even think of the name of it.
Capital Reserve Fund.
No, what's good, say that again?
Capital Reserve Fund.
No, the cemetery at the end of South Road, on the left.
Oh, you mean South Road Cemetery?
South Road Cemetery. Where did we end up? Did we give them an increase or did we vote no?
We voted to bring it to 5,000 instead of the 8,500.
Okay. Well, I'd like to change my vote on that. And I would ask the others, now, and where do we end up with our own cemetery, with our older cemeteries and maintenance? There was a request for 25,000 on their behalf. Where did we end up voting on that?
You approved it.
We approved it. Well, I think we did it backwards. And I've been in opposition for many years. And I think if you look back at the vote, I said I just didn't vote at all. I just said I'll step away from it. But South Road Cemetery is really the town cemetery. It's a current used town. If we have someone that dies, and maybe I'm wrong, but they don't have any money, no insurance, no nothing, they get buried,
Yeah, they do.
okay?
And the county also has a place there also.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I would like to go back to their request, and if we need a full board meeting, I didn't vote correctly as far as I'm concerned on that. And then when it comes to our older cemeteries and maintenance, I'd reduce that to make up the difference. So the budget bottom line doesn't change. I'd reduce that $25,000 by the difference of what they were asking us for. Because the person that does the work at that cemetery volunteers time and this time. And I haven't talked to him. I got thinking about it as an afterthought. And I think that's only fair. We've seen some things happen with our local cemeteries that are older ones. Yes, they need some maintenance. Yes, they're getting, whoever's doing it right now, they're doing a good job. However, and I realize things go up, but it does the same thing for South Road, and South Road has an obligation, or so people assume, the town people assume that if something bad happened, that they could be buried there. Whereas the ones that are existing, that are 50 to 100 years old, they're not gonna be opened up and probably be a burial put there.
I don't think they can because they don't really know where bodies are
Oh.
in a lot of those
So
older
there's
cemeteries.
a couple that can, there's a few that can't.
Mm.
It depends on.
Oh, I own a
the
cemetery
cemetery.
on Levitt Road.
Yeah, he can, his is empty because they
You don't live
buried
next to it,
somebody,
I know.
they
Oh,
buried
my
someone there
my
and then she
mother-in-law
was
did.
moved, so
Oh,
his
the
whole
old
cemetery is
cemetery,
empty,
well,
but it's his to do
Yeah.
with what he wants.
Yeah.
Like Conor Dimitraki's,
There's nobody buried there now. There was, my sister-in-law was buried and upon.
So I voted on the 5,000 cutback for South Road because Sonny made the motion and someone seconded it, so I went along with the board. Do I feel that South Road should get the 85? I do believe that that is the case.
And I,
So,
So, well, yeah, but you watch some of this, I can say no all day long, and if I'm the only one that says no, well then, so I could have said no, but I would have been the only one, and we'd still have the same result.
and I can just say
So
I
if
have to.
he wants to make a motion to change the allotment to South Road Cemetery to 8,500 of their request,
Good thing you tell me.
I don't have a problem doing
No,
it.
it's
Go
gone.
to 11.
so I'll say I have no issue with how much money we've been able to cut back to put the 2,500 back in the South Road, but I do think we should let the voters decide on the cemetery capital fund. If they wanna give them the money, they can vote yes, if not, vote no, and they get nothing, so. I think I'd be fine putting the 2,500 back in the
Well,
South Road, but.
I think what he's talking about, cause the town
operating.
cemeteries have two different things. They have their operating budget, which, the board passed at 27 something, I don't remember. And then the capital reserve is what goes on the ballot. So I think what he's saying is to give South Road the 3,500 that got taken away, but take it from the 27,000 that the trustees asked for to offset it.
Oh,
So he wants to
you want it
drop-
from their budget, not from the capital fund?
That's fine. I wanna put it in their budget this year. Like anything else, everything else has gone up.
I mean, we approved to give them the 8,500 last year. It was
No.
just cut to,
Yeah, cut-
yeah,
they cut
last
it,
year.
yeah,
Well,
But it was cut because you guys, you guys
right,
gave back
right.
the
South Road Cemetery
3,500.
gave back,
Yeah.
So
but
that's
again,
how it ended up being
right.
cut to
And now
5.
they need the money.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to see where you wanted to take it from the cemetery. Do you wanna take it from their budget,
From
or do
the
you wanna
gen-
take it
from
from
the
their
general
capital
budget.
fund?
I wanna
Request.
add
So
that
they're two
money to their
different
budget.
entities. So
no,
South
no,
Road
no, 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 no,
Cemetery-
no, no, no.
Hold on.
There's the capital reserve for your old cemeteries, which was $25,000. Then they asked, there was 27 something for their
I think it was
operating,
27.
whatever their operating amount is, that's what Sharon says. It's the same
Do you
thing,
wanna take it
but
from
there's two
our
items.
cemetery's operating budget, or from our cemetery's capital fund request?
Operating.
Their operating budget.
Okay, I'm fine with, if you guys are good with that, I could be fine with that. I wanna know what the cemetery is thinking about.
So I can tell you that we took a 2-year bid on our current maintenance contract. We're paying $17,600. 2 years ago, when we bid it out, the guy that bid against him, his bid was $23,000. So then we talked to Fred, because Fred does landscaping for a living, and we said, if you were gonna do this job, what would you charge? He told us, and then we just added the $3,000 that we always ask for in case of emergencies. So we always kind of have that fluid, like we still have like $2,000 left because we did the offset, but anyway, that's how we figured that. Could we conceivably do it if we needed to? We could, because we would then take the
Money from the
shortfall
capital.
out of the capital to pay what we needed to pay to do that. So could we do it? Yes. Would we want to do it? Probably not. But, yeah, I can't
I
make
guess
a
in the
decision
scheme
on
of
that
thing where-
because.
in the scheme of things,
It's a small amount of money when
right, it's not a lot of money.
$500,000 we're spending
I
out.
mean, if we,
Yeah.
you know, if the capital reserve goes in and the voters say, yeah, you can have the 25,000, then it's a no-brainer, it's easy peasy, we could do that.
But they could also go in and say no.
But they could also go in and say no, and because we already gave back $8,200 of our capital reserve, and that's kind of why that ask is so high on the capital, is because, you know, we did give back the 8.
So I think
We're
you'd want
just
two
adding it
motions,
to
John.
South Road.
John, I think you'd want two motions. Your first one would be to a motion to reconsider the South Road Cemetery's,
Contribution.
And ask what, and I would give them what they asked for,
budget to
their budget
8,500.
request, yes,
And then get a second, if you have one.
I would hope I have.
So are we making the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
I probably should abstain,
Okay,
all right,
so 3-1,
All right.
or 3-0-1.
okay.
And then if,
And that's to increase the amount from,
5 to 85.
5,000 to 8,500.
Which was not something that the select board voted on, that was something that the association was trying to do their part for the budget, you know, to do their part. And then, you know, you come back in this year and say no, and you're going, now we're getting tight here, now
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, so,
and if you defaulted anyway, you default to 8,500 anyway.
Cause that was from the year before.
Now, if you needed your other proposal, from what I understand, was that you wanted to basically do a trade to ask.
I'll leave her,
Cemetery
I'll leave their
trustees.
budget alone,
Okay. Then
I won't.
I feel better with that, yeah.
just leave it alone.
it's in the scheme of things,
3,500, and like I said, if you default, you're still gonna pay the gift.
Well, listen,
8,500.
We're spending, I mean,
Right.
when I talked to Pizza about this fire truck,
Jeremy.
Jeremy, his nickname's Pizza, because that's all he ever eats is pizza.
To their budget,
But-
the health
And he
agency.
called me and he said, John, I got a list for you. He said, you ain't gonna like it. I said, well, I sent it up there to get it looked at, and it should have been looked at. This is something for you to remember. When they say they're gonna have something done, we want somebody that represents us. And no offense, I don't want a part-time fireman and a part-time mechanic in that garage up there looking at it. Take it to a professional who's got a license to inspect and service trucks, and have him look at it, even if it costs us a few bucks to get it looked at, just looked at. What would you do? Because we sent this place, spent $245,000 on their truck, and then they come back and it needs another 30 grand. And they told us after the fact, they bid what they did, they letted it up, it looks good,
Pretty on the outside.
looks
but it
Yeah.
ain't good in the inside, we gotta
That's
get
my
that in
thing.
their
I'm
heads.
one of those people, if I paid you and it's not right, you're going to hear from me. I'm
But
going
they
to
might have not
climb
known
all
what they were
over
actually
you.
paying for. They might have
No.
been paying for to put lipstick on a pig
But
and not
do
actually
we
paying for
You're
it
absolutely
fixed.
right.
But do we have to now add money to the fire department's budget to pay for these
may,
expenses if
because
they're gonna have
No,
This
to?
ambulance
no,
fund-
the $25,000 will come out of their ambulance fund, right?
You have to understand, the one thing
Oh,
that
you can't.
passed many years ago was that ambulance fund. That's the town's money,
But we have to add that somewhere to be voted on,
that's right.
because you can't take it out of the ambulance fund without the
Town
voters vote.
permission, that's right. But that was the way that the firemen got together. I had the deputy fire chief stand up when we had a real town meeting in the gym at the high school and say, that barn you live in, and this is a quote, on 107 Burns, we ain't coming.
So, let's think about this for a
So fire
second.
has 50,000 in their repair line in their budget. I just looked at that.
Yeah,
Right.
So how much does he get an hour? Cause I know he's not getting 125 an hour. Jesus,
No, but the
mechanics get
question
way more
is,
than that.
here you go again, the question is, do we add something on the ballot? Here, we took one away, now let's talk about this, do we add something to the ballot, to, take, what did she, however, what is, $25,000
Can we add
for
it?
repair?
Can we add it to
That
the vehicle
list?
and repairs that's on the list? It says 8,000.
Well, the question I think comes from, do you take it from the ambulance revenue, which isn't through taxation?
Right, well, that's what,
and that's been their backbone. Because they say it's not costing you any money, but it is, because we pay for the ambulance, we pay for the people that's run it, and the money that
It's-
comes in,
it's the school, you know, one.
Rob Peter Paypal.
Yeah.
What's the number?
So 50.
No, but-
number one.
That's, oh, yeah, I knew that, I did know that. So what you're saying is increase,
It's on the back page.
yep, increase the
707.
29,276
to
Wait, where do you see 29,276?
at the bottom.
Oh, I'm just looking at the fire.
Oh, you're
repair
just
line.
looking at the,
707, yeah.
vehicle repair. Okay, so
Oh,
you,
yeah, down here, yes.
okay, I was looking at the bottom
So
line.
there's two vehicle repairs, the 50 up here and then the 8,000 down that comes from the ambulance.
Line number.
It's a colored one, dear.
Well, the actual
Oh,
budget
you're
line
looking up
is
above.
014220707.
You
But-
could.
But you're not taking that from the ambulance fund.
No, I'm just saying what the repair line is.
Right.
You
But
could
this is from the
increase
ambulance fund.
repair line and increase that 124.5 that you get from the ambulance in that one warrant article to offset.
Yeah, that was my question. So this 8,000, does it add to the 50 or is it offsetting the 50?
The 8,000?
The 8,000 that comes from the ambulance repair fund, it says vehicle and repair parts, $8,000.
Oh, it's just offset, that goes into my.
Offsetting.
So it offsets, doesn't add to the 50.
No, it just, yeah, it's an offset.
So,
Exactly.
I
To
mean,
the
yeah, we
budget.
could increase the repair line and then offset it more with the ambulance fund. if-
Right,
You could.
right.
Granted, it'll still look like they increased their budget, but the offset will be in the revenues.
Right.
That I
Yeah.
report to DRA to offset.
Right.
Yeah.
So it washes. Could.
Because, we make money with this ambulance, I mean, we get money back. We don't make really any money, but we
No.
get money back. We're allowing them to keep that money, and that was voted on by the town 20 years ago to do this. And I would say that 92% of the our electoral people that come in and vote, they don't understand that. They don't have a clue. What do you mean?
So basically, you would increase that vehicle repair and parts to 33,000.
And I think you should. I think that's what,
But-
some of the
And then
stuff,
increase the
we've
707.
been penny wise and
by
pound
No,
foolish.
well,
But that's only an offset, so we'd have to increase the budget too.
Right.
right.
So whatever you increase the budget, increase that yellow orange
Right.
section.
Yep.
Which is a separate warrant article
Right,
to offset.
yep, that's,
Was that 20, you said 25, adding 25,000?
I added 25, is that
So
what
it'd
you?
bring-
I think we do. Teddy, it was 12,000 3 years ago, but that's what, it doesn't buy you much.
So line 707 will go from 50,000
To
to
75.
75,000.
Yes.
And then the warrant would go up to 30, whatever
Yeah.
she said.
Well, it would go, that line would go from 8,000 to 33, and then it would be, 276, it'd be 315,276 would be the total.
I think that section is that section is 124,500 plus
Yeah.
25 is.
Right.
Oh, I see, because you're not, I'm adding in the ambulance and the
Yeah.
pumper. Got it. Okay. What?
I was having a private conversation.
You're not supposed to.
Just listen to the
because-
mics later, here.
Oh, okay, we'll find
I
out.
said, all I wanna do is
Yeah,
correct my mistake I made while voting.
yeah.
Which line were you adding to the 8,000? Okay.
Yeah, the vehicle repair and parts.
And what I said about our mechanic is true. With the work he's got to do with our town trucks, to work on and I just soon have a subcontractor do that because of the liability.
Liability, and, not for nothing, okay, it's same, like we've talked about with.
We don't mount our own tires.
Right, but the other issue is that you want these vehicles safe. No different than the police cruisers, God forbid, you want those police
Oh, yeah,
cruisers safe.
I maintained them for many years.
Oh,
So that warrant article that restricts the first X would now, which has been in the past 124,500 is now gonna be 149,500.
okay.
Yep.
And they have a special hearing, public hearing for that, every time we change that, and even if we don't change it,
Right, they can ask why.
ask why or go down.
Yeah. And not for nothing, but maybe, so you bring it up one year and you bring it back the next year if need
Yeah.
be. It's.
Special
we-
purpose on that.
Huh?
Special purpose, knowing that we have some fire trucks that are in rough shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and
We got
that's
two of them that are
and that's
junk.
how you can say it. So you don't want us
You
to
said
fix the
we
fire
just-
trucks?
We just spent $245,000 on a truck that's gotta spend another 30 grand on.
Yep, yep.
I just have one more thing for the cleanup. Me and Colleen sat the employee portion. So the town's portion for the health insurance increase is 168.
It's a little better than 200.
And that's includes the dental and the health. And then the offset of that is the employee's portion.
I need to get a municipal job.
Huh?
I need to get a
You got
municipal
one.
job.
You got one.
No, I don't.
Well, the big bucks you're getting paid to be here. What are you talking about?
That's all I have, unless you guys have any other questions on the budget, and I do have a small
Yep.
item.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Whoa,
All in favor?
No, whoa.
What?
Not
What?
adjourn.
We're going to
Oh, that's
Moving
right,
non-public.
that's right, that we're I don't have any,
But if you want to leave, I'll leave.
Somebody's gonna tell her what to do. That'd be a hard thing. I love you,
I
Sid.
have no RSAs, that's what I was trying to say.
91A, A through Z.
91A, colon 3, row number 2, letters A and L.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in
Beat you.
favor?
Aye.
Look at her go. Here she goes. 1, 2, 3.